Hey everyone, this is Valerie with Panther Realty Group again. First off, I wanted to take the time to thank everyone who joined me in my very first video last time and who gave me likes and subscribed. I really truly appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. It has inspired me to continue making content on my new YouTube channel on Panther Realty Group. For those of you who are just now joining me and do not know who I am Valerie Lopez with Keller Williams Johnson County in Burleson, Texas. I have my own real estate group called Panther Realty Group, and it is my goal to be DFW's asset in helping anyone who is interested in buying, selling, or investing in real estate in the DFW community. Now on to today's video. Today's video is very important. It will be addressing the most talked about concerns amongst property owners. It is so concerning you could even describe it as an epidemic. People across social media platforms, even news outlets, are voicing their concerns, their anger, their frustrations, their concerns that they may not even be able to continue living in their own home. Why? Because of a particular letter that they are receiving in the mail. And, ladies and gentlemen, as I'm sure you all know by now, I am talking about this. This is Tarrant Appraisal District's 2019 property tax notice. So what is this letter? This letter is a necessary notice that your county must provide to you by April 1st if you reside as a homestead resident in your property. What this letter showcases is the proposed tax amount for 2019. It will also show you previous year's taxes as well as the percent in which it has increased from the past into now. The reason why so many people are getting angry over this letter is because of the rate that the taxes are rising to. Sometimes it is going up into the 50, 60, 70, even above 100% on where the taxes were prior to and where they are proposing to go to now. This is causing an extreme uproar in multiple communities because people are fearing that how are we going to pay the difference for 2019? What I wanted to emphasize though on this video, however, is that before you start freaking out and jumping to protesting, there could be a very simple resolution to making sure that your property taxes don't rise as exponentially as they are to most people. What's going on is that if you are a homestead owner, meaning that you have a property that you live in as an owner-occupant, you should verify. The first thing you should do is verify if your homestead exemption or any other exemptions that you may qualify for are being reflected on this notice. This video is going to show you how to double check that you really are being protected under Texas guidelines to make sure that you are not put in a position in which you are fearing whether or not you can even afford to live in your own home. A homestead exemption reduces the amount of property taxes that you pay if you live in the property as an owner-occupant. Depending on where you live, the amount that can be deducted can vary. However, I can testify that in Tarrant County, that amount is by $25,000. So as an example, if your house is proposed at $200,000 for 2019, what a homestead exemption does is that it reduces that amount by $25,000. So you, as a homestead owner, only have to pay taxes as if your home was only worth $175,000. That gives you relief in the amount of taxes that you have to pay, and it is something that you only have to file once, and it continues to re-enroll you until you register that you have sold the home or moved to another property and claim that one as your next homestead. Now, how will you know that you have the exemption? The first thing you have to do is look at that blue notice that the county has given to you and make sure that at the bottom it lists exemptions. This is where a lot of people fail to realize that they thought that they may have an exemption on it because they believe because you live in the property, this is where your mail goes to. You just kind of assume that Tarrant County or the county that you reside in also assumes that this is your homestead. That is not how this works. At the beginning of the year, on January 1st of whatever year you moved into the property, that is the year that you have to make sure that you fill out what's called a homestead exemption form and mail it before the April 30th deadline. Sometimes some people move into the properties and they don't do this, and because of that, you're now in future tax proposals are going to increase at a humongous amount, causing you to pay more in taxes than you need to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you step by step how to verify whether or not you have this homestead exemption on file with your property, and if not, I'm going to show you how to do that online. You will need a computer and a printer to print from, and I'm going to go over step by step to make sure that you or anyone you know has that exemption on file and you are saving money for this in future years. The first thing you're going to need to do is open up a web browser and go to tad.org. I am currently using Google Chrome on an Apple iPad. However, if you are to use a desktop computer or even a cell phone, the website may look a little different than what you will be seeing in this video. However, the information is still going to be the same. What you're going to do is under property search, you're going to click on the drop down box and you're going to scroll down and select property address. Once there, type in the street number and the street name of the property in question, using an example. And then you're going to click on the white search box. If you did this correctly, you are going to be taken to a new page in which you will be able to click on the blue hyperlinked account number with the property address in question. You will then be taken to a public page in which TAD has public information regarding the legal description and any kind of tax information up to date as of 2019. If you were to scroll all the way to the bottom, the last category that you will find in this public page will be exemptions. If, as the example that I am showing you right now, it is blank, and you know for a fact that you reside in a property as your homestead, meaning it is your owner-occupied property, you live here, and you plan on using this property as your main home, TAD does not recognize this property as a homestead, and therefore you are not benefiting from the reduced taxes that you could otherwise be having for 2019. The way to check whether or not you really do have an exemption is to compare it to another property. If you did do it correctly, you will see that there is going to be a bullet point underneath there, and it will say Homestead General 11.13b. If you filled out a form and mailed it on the same year that you resided in the property as of January 1st, it could be 2018, 2017, 2019, etc. If you lived in that property on the 1st of January, that is the year in which you were supposed to have submitted a homestead exemption form. So, how do we do that? Where is this form? If you recall, there were 4 turquoise boxes. One of them said forms. You're going to click on that box that says forms, and it is in alphabetical order. So you just scroll down until you start seeing documents that start with an H, and you're going to look for Homestead right here. So in this particular section is going to say Homestead, over 65, disabled person, disabled vet 100%. This is the form that you need to mail and make sure they have before April 30th. Here is what this form looks like. There is no fee for filing this application. It is 100% free, and it is something that you 100% can do on your own and do not need a third party to do on your behalf. You may have been receiving a lot of mail, especially very common during this time, of third-party companies that are saying because they pulled up your public information and they see that you did not fill out a homestead exemption, they're letting you know you did not fill out a homestead exemption. Please remit the following payment to us and we will do it for you. It is typically unnecessary and you can do this for free. And here is the form to do that. So if you do not ever recall filling out this form, this is something that you may need to do right away. The next thing that you need to do is fill out the form. Some common questions that I receive are usually going to be within step 1. What is the legal description of the property and where can I find the deed filing information? If you have your blue letter with you, the legal description is right there. So you will just need to go to the top right portion of your property value notice. Underneath your online PIN, you will see a bolded header that says property description and address. This is what you need to copy and fill out on the box below. If you do not have your blue notice in front of you, there is a way to find this information. The easiest way is going to be through the CAD website. If you scroll down to the header that says owner information, underneath current owner, you will then see a deed date and an instrument. This is the information that they are requesting on the homestead exemption form. The next common question that I receive is under step 3. If you notice in the bottom 4 checkboxes, the second checkbox says holds a driver's license issued under section 521.121C or 521.1211. A common question I receive is this the same thing as having a Class C on my driver's license? And if so, do I check this box? Chances are the answer is going to be no. What this section is stating is that if you are a peace officer or a judge or someone along those lines in which you have permission to omit your personal address and in return fill in a municipal address for your driver's license, such as a courthouse address or police station address, if that is the case, then yes, you do check this box. Chances are, however, that does not apply to you. Please make sure that you go over step 4 very carefully. And if the qualifications apply to you in the other categories, such as age 65 or older, disabled person, 100% disabled veteran, etc., you will need to follow the additional directions in providing the information they request, so that way they may give you the proper exemption and file it for you before the deadline is up. Once you have all of this information, all you have to do is sign it, date it, and then provide copies of your driver's license showing that the address that is on your license matches the house that you plan on claiming as your homestead. If there is more than one owner of the property, such as a married couple, include their information as well. Make copies of their driver's licenses or any documentation that proves that they too claim this property as their homestead and include it with this homestead exemption application. Once you have all of that information, please return the completed application to the following address: Tarrant Appraisal District Exemption Division, P.O. Box 185579, Fort Worth, Texas 76181. Please make sure that it is not simply postmarked by April 30th. That is going to miss the deadline. You have to make sure that you give yourself plenty of time to mail this document so that way it is processed in a timely manner and properly filed before the deadline is up. Now you have to fill out a homestead exemption form every single time you move and claim a new property as your new homestead. So if you buy a property after January 1st of that year, you have to wait until the following year in order to submit it. Please make sure that you do not forget and that you fill out that homestead exemption form to the proper county to ensure that they reflect the homestead exemption on your new property. You cannot assume that the county knows whenever you move and treat it as a homestead. Now let's say that you have resided in your home as an owner-occupant for more than 2 years. For example, let's say you bought the home back in 2000 and you're now just realizing that you did not submit a homestead exemption form when you first resided in the property on January 1st. In that case, it would be 2000 or 2001. The furthest back the county can go back towards and possibly rebate you on any excess taxes that you may have paid for is for the year that you are filing, in this case 2019, and the previous year, 2018. So unfortunately, while we can't go back and rebate on all of the years that you have resided as a homestead in that property, the good news is the county is still acknowledging the exemption on a previous year, and so you may actually receive a rebate check for the year 2018 and be guaranteed that the homestead exemption is going to be applied for 2019 and for every single year beyond, so long as you live in the home as an owner-occupant. If you have your blue letter in front of you, the quickest way to verify whether or not there is a homestead exemption on file for your property is to look down on the bottom. There is going to be a section that says 2019 exemptions granted amount. If it says none, unfortunately, your county does not recognize any exemptions on that property, including yours as a homestead. Now, if it says HS, you're in luck. That means that the county does recognize it and they have received your homestead exemption form and it is on file and you are good to go. And it will show you the amount of deduced taxes that the county is applying towards your property. If you have other exemptions as well, they will be listed here. Online, they will not be listed if they are regarding age. You will notice that there is a clause in there that says that the website cannot display whether or not a person has an over 65 exemption. Your blue letter, however, should tell you whether you have that exemption and any others, and now is the time to verify that those are applying towards your property. Now, if you do decide to go in person, look for the address to go to on your property value notice on Tarrant counties. It's going to be on the top left-hand side of your blue notice. Please make sure you go with plenty of time, as it is going to be a very busy season for all appraisal districts as they are working numerous files, especially towards protesting and answering any homeowners' questions. But also make sure that you do this with plenty of time before April 30th. Besides calling your local tax appraiser's number, if you have any questions regarding how to fill out a homestead exemption form, especially here in the DFW area, I, as your real estate agent, will be more than happy to help you out with that. Please feel free to leave me a comment below. You may also reach out to me by visiting my website, contacting me by Facebook, and many other venues so that you can ensure that you are prepared for 2019 and beyond. If you liked my video and found it to be informative, please subscribe to my channel and give me a like. And also, please share to anyone you know who may find this to be beneficial. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you on my next video, which we will be talking about protesting your taxes.